Good morning. I am really happy to be back on this campus, and I know everyone says that, but I really mean it. Things have really changed around here. When I graduated in 2004, Cud Hall was a total dump. Overnight guests were not permitted ever, and that red devil looked a lot more like Satan than a seductress. I, for one, love it. You guys have been shaking things up, and change is inevitable, so I think we might as well make some. How about you? When President Fleming called and asked me to do this, I thought she'd lost her mind. And I know there are probably some faculty members behind me who think that too. I graduated just 11 years ago, and most days I wake up and I'm living this life that I can't believe is mine, and all I can think is, Casey, do not screw this up. Let's just say I'm living proof that you can make a lot of mistakes and drink a lot of wine and still have a great life and a great career. And so when she asked me to do this, I did what any modern woman would do. I Googled commencement speeches. And just so you know, I found a lot more inspiration in Ellen DeGeneres and Dolly Parton than I did in Bill Gates or Bill Clinton. I also thought a lot about Converse and how great my time here was, and I thought a lot about how I have changed and not changed so much since I sat where you're sitting. Just for fun, because I think we have some things in common, I want you all to raise your hand if anyone has ever said any of the following things to you. Don't be a sass mouth. Be quiet. Calm down. Tone it down. Take it down a notch. Me too. As a matter of fact, I've been hearing some version of that my whole life, and I'm tired of it. Unfortunately, people say things like that more to women than they do to men, and I don't appreciate that either, but facts are facts. I was a loud child. Not just precocious or opinionated, there was plenty of that. I mean really loud. My teachers told my mother to have my hearing checked. They also told her that I was a handful and to consider medication. My lovely Southern mother smiled politely and told them that if she could handle me all day, every day, they could surely handle me the few hours I was at school. My hearing is perfect, by the way. I came to Converse from Gaffney, South Carolina, just down the street a piece. I knew I would go to college. I was pretty smart. I just had no idea how to go about it because no one in my family had ever been. My sainted mother and I figured it out together, just like everything else. A high school teacher whom I admired suggested I visit Converse, and I did. After one visit, I was completely sold. My mother was thrilled at the idea of having me so close to home, but terrified that we couldn't afford the tuition. This was pre-tuition reset, you know. But my mind was made up, so I sprung into action. I applied for every scholarship under the sun. I wrote essays and put together scrapbooks for any civic group or organization willing to give me $500 or $1,000. I came to Milliken Scholarship Day. I remember I wore a pink cardigan and pearls, and I thought I looked very Converse. My mom and I parked in Twitchell Lot, and when I look back on it, I realized she was probably more nervous than I was when she turned to me and said, "Baby girl, maybe, just for today, don't be so much yourself. Tone it down." And I thought, why does everyone keep saying that? I met Joe Dunn that day. Do you guys know him? I walked right up to him, stuck my hand out, and said, "My name is Casey Addis, and I'm coming to Converse, and I'm going to be on your Model Arab League, and I am going to be a star." He was shocked, but recovered very quickly and smugly asked me, "What is your SAT score?" Well, this was back in the days when Joe Dunn just handpicked his very favorite students for Model Arab League. I know he has this transparent audition process now, which I'm sure he secretly hates. But he picked me and immediately regretted it when I went into debate like a bull in a china shop. After our first conference, he took me into his office and he sat me down and he said, "Casey, in order to be a successful debater, you have got to take it down a notch." "Nonsense," I said. My mother was not impressed with Joe Dunn when I went home over the holidays my freshman year and told her I wanted to go to the Middle East to study Arabic. But after a long debate, which I won, she did what she always does and offered her infinite love and support. I got a passport and hopped on a plane to Morocco. And now I've spent most of my adult life studying, living, and working in the Middle East, all because of a college debate team. Isn't it weird how things like that work out? I went to Texas, then DC, Geneva, Switzerland, Libya, Iraq, and a lot of places in between. And all of this is just to say I have been around, ladies. When people ask what I do, I say I'm a diplomat. Maybe the least diplomatic diplomat ever. People inevitably then ask me, but what does a diplomat do? And I say, it's kind of hard to explain, but I spend most of my time trying to convince other people that what I want them to do is exactly what they want to do. Winston Churchill said that the art of diplomacy is learning to tell people to go to hell in such a way that they look forward to the trip. Talleyrand, who was Napoleon's foreign minister, for those of you who did not major in obscure French history, said that the art of the statesman is to foresee the inevitable and to expedite its occurrence, whatever that means. Talleyrand also cautioned young diplomats against too much zeal, which is just a 19th century way of saying, don't be such a sass-mouth. If these two legendary men cannot define diplomacy, then how the hell should I know what I do? I know I'm here now, as loud as I've ever been, but with a slightly more impressive job description, and I'm supposed to tell you something useful or inspirational or even wise. But I am not qualified to do that, ladies. I am going to tell you 7 lessons that I learned the hard way that helped me get through the last 10 years and hope that they will make your next 10 years a little bit easier. And I'm going to try to do that without boring you or really embarrassing your parents, but no promises. First of all, you are about to find out that your 20s are the most challenging and confusing years of your life. I wish I could give you a formula to make it easier, but I can't. They're pretty terrible. Trust me when I say, despite a few wrinkles, I would not trade places with you for any summer treasure. I was happy to leave my 20s behind, and you will be too. The best advice that I can give you is to go easy on yourselves. You'll spend so much time trying to figure out what you're supposed to do with your life, and even more time trying to figure out how to pay for it. You'll probably spend too much time worried about your clothes and your weight, and you will definitely spend too much time worried about what other people think of you. I did, but I'm here to tell you that it's okay. Tough it out. It will be worth it when your 20s are over. The greatest gift of your 30s is getting over your youthful insecurities, and one day you will wake up and you will say, I don't care what people think about me, and it will really be true, and that will be a fantastic feeling. You guys are so great, thank you. Lesson number 2, do not be afraid to be single. I have been single 33 years. It's kind of awesome. You can do your own laundry and pay your own bills and make your own dinner. You can also do your taxes and make your own money, and you can change that flat tire, or by God, you can call AAA to do it for you. Do not mistake dependence for love. You are better than that. Go ahead and spend some time with your adult self and get to know her. Get to love her, because she is the only person you can always count on. I'm just gonna stop and let you clap. Is that how that works? That's so great. Number 3, go to the gym, ladies, or to a yoga class, or for a walk, okay? Exercise will keep you from becoming a horrible human being, and I'm not talking about your weight or the size of your skinny jeans. Talking about the connection between your body and your mind. I run so that I am not a horrible monster. I practice yoga so that I might practice some patience, and I love to hike because the view at the top reminds me that sometimes, not often, but sometimes in life, there are immediate rewards for hard work, and I really like that. So find something that you love, that gets you moving and makes you sweat, and stick with it. Bonus points if that thing is great sex. Now that I know I have everyone's attention, and building on my last point, I want you all to know that responsible, healthy, consensual sex is not something you should ever feel that you have to apologize for or be ashamed of. And for the sake of your parents, that is all I'm going to say on the subject. Also related, lesson number 4, do not let your mistakes define you. I have made many, many mistakes, big ones, dumb ones. Do not let your confidence be shaken by the inexperience of your youth. Regret has absolutely no place in your life. Madeline Young gave me a C- once in a course, not on a test, because I earned it. I made some pretty bad decisions on the dating front. I went to graduate school in Austin, Texas, and spent a lot more time drinking margaritas and eating Tex-Mex than I did studying, but that was an altogether different education. You can overcome your mistakes. Say you're sorry, own them, and then get on with it. No mistakes are insurmountable, but try not to make any really, really big, really, really dumb ones. Only 2 come to mind. Number 1, do not get arrested, ladies. There is just no excuse. Okay? And number 2, maybe slightly more important, do not get pregnant. I mean, get pregnant if that's what you want and you're physically and emotionally ready and your family, whatever your family looks like, supports you. But do not accidentally get pregnant. There's just no excuse. It's 2015, and no matter what anyone tries to tell you, you are in charge of your body. And birth control is free. Thank you, President Obama. Lesson number 5, absolutely no eye rolling. This was a really difficult professional lesson for me to learn. There will come a time, probably very soon, when you will be convinced that you are smarter than your boss. You will probably even be convinced that everyone on the planet is smarter than your boss. I am here to tell you that you are probably wrong, but even if you're not, it doesn't matter, because your boss is your boss. Be loyal, be respectful. One day you will be in a meeting and your boss will be going on, and the other people in the room will look to you, either because you are a natural leader, or because you are a woman, or because you are young, or because they know your boss is a moron. They are waiting on the eye roll. Do not do it. It says far more about you than it does about your boss. Number 6, stand up for something. A long list of courageous, audacious, dare I say sass-mouths, fought the good fight for us. And by us, I mean women. It wasn't that long ago that none of this would have been possible, and it seems difficult to believe now because we didn't live through the struggle, but it was a struggle. And I think it obligates us to muster the faith and courage to stand up for others and do what's right. I am a huge, huge fan of former Secretary of State and hopefully future President Hillary Clinton. In 1991, Hillary Clinton went to Beijing, and she stood on stage in front of the whole world, and she said, women's rights are human rights, and human rights are women's rights. And that might not sound profound to you right now, but at the time, it really was. 20 years later, in 2011, Hillary Clinton came to Geneva, and I stood on the side of the stage as she stood up and said, gay rights are human rights, and human rights are gay rights. And trust me, everyone knew it was a big deal. And it was one of the proudest moments of my career and as an American. I think we all need to have the courage to stand up and say, everyone deserves to live their truth without fear of discrimination or violence or hate, period. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to turn you all into gay rights activists, although that would be awesome. I'm just saying that we all need something to believe in, and we all need to do a little something to make the world better for other people. And finally, I want you all to remember that you do not have a career. You have a life, just one, and you better get to living it. I was asked to come here today because people think I have a great job, And I do. I love my job. But it's just a piece of who I am and what I am. And I know you all are sick of people saying, what are you going to do after graduation? Because I know you know they mean, do you have a job? What you need to say when people ask you that is that you are going to have a great life, and whatever you do to earn a living will just be a piece of that. Above all, make yourself happy, because that is the only measure of success as far as I can tell. So on this momentous day, your graduation day, my best piece of advice to you all is to find the combination of love and work and exercise and service and sex and wine and whatever it is that makes you happy, because that's your job, that's your life's work, and this is your life. Congratulations, class of 2015. Cheers to you.